Alright Shove It Squad, last time out I covered Christian Cage's TNA career and today's video is the next logical step. This video was also a Patreon request by Paul Theodore. If you want to make the Hawk talk, sign up today. All I can say about this video is just wow. They made him look like a complete idiot. I can't believe how absurd some of this stuff was. It's almost offensive that this stuff actually happened. Because today, I'm covering the worst year of AJ Styles' career. Call it wacky AJ Styles. AJ has had a hell of a career, he's done it all. He led an entire company. He created his own buzz in Japan, and he proved then that he could do it on a major stage in the WWE. AJ Styles is truly one of the greatest talents from that generation. The fact that TNA lost half its viewership just because one man left the company shows how much he meant to the fans. Let me know why he meant so much to you and what was your favourite moment. AJ had 5 heavyweight title reigns in TNA and he carried the company for years, which is why this video is all the more shocking and amusing. I can't believe how bad it got for AJ at this point. Let's get into it. AJ Styles had always been a bit wacky. Let's just say his microphone work was not exactly his strong point. He was excellent in the ring from the get-go, but his microphone work ranged from cringy to embarrassing. During his first year, TNA tried desperately to give AJ a catchphrase, which was simply, zip it. He constantly screamed this line throughout his promo, sounds like a child who was going through puberty.
Jeff Jarrett. Zip it! Ricky the Dragon Steamboat looked at him and said, zip it!
Then there was the chainsaw incident, which saw AJ carrying a chainsaw throughout the arena, kicking down a door and threatening to cut people in half with a chainsaw whilst yelling out homophobic words. Times were different, and I'm told that back then the word was commonly used in the southern states at the time. Not making excuses for him, it's just a fact. TNA realised that he sucked on the mic and paired him with Vince Russo, who did most of his talking for him. This was almost worse. Russo would act like a father figure to him. It was sometimes hard to comprehend that AJ was the champion, but he never let us down in the ring. Besides, I'm not actually here to talk about the Asylum era for AJ Styles. Despite some silly moments, he mostly did his talking in the ring and never let us down between 2002 and 2006, and he held the NWA Heavyweight title 3 times during that period. But something must have changed for AJ Styles in 2007 and 2008, because his booking became terrible, embarrassing, a complete joke. These storylines will make your head spin. Strap in, or in your girlfriend's case, strap on, because this is going to be a ride. Christian Cage had joined TNA a year or so prior, and he unintentionally took AJ Styles' spot in the main event scene. He was the more rounded competitor at the time, and he was ex-WWE. This wouldn't be a bad signing for TNA at all, so it was forgivable. What isn't forgivable is how AJ Styles was turned into a lackey for Christian Cage. It was almost like history had been rewritten, and everybody completely forgot AJ Styles had already been this company's heavyweight champion 3 times at this point. Styles had often been seen with Christian around this time, but it wasn't until the Lockdown pay-per-view that anything became official. Christian was forming his own faction, the Christian Coalition, with Scott Steiner and Tomko, and AJ Styles would also join Team Cage. Christian saved AJ Styles from a beating from Rhino, and this moment seemed to spark something inside Styles, a certain feeling perhaps. Christian said that he's recruited AJ to his team, and if AJ sticks around with him, he'll help AJ Styles become something in TNA. He was a 3-time champion at this point. It turned out that AJ Styles had been offered a title shot at Christian's belt, but it was all a lie and Christian kept offering people title matches they agreed to back him up. It makes AJ look incredibly stupid as he believes everything that Christian tells him. AJ is so worried about the upcoming Lockdown match that he keeps jumping up and down on the spot and screaming. Christian tells him that he's going to take AJ's title shot away, which causes them to argue back and forth like little children. AJ is most definitely still going through puberty as he cries and panics. They keep acting like children. It's so strange to see a grown man and 3-time champion act like this.
The number game is in our advantage. It's 5-4. We should take advantage of that, don't you think?
That's very poignant, AJ. How long did it take you to memorize that, huh?
I
already knew that!
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did!
I knew it.
That's all right, doesn't matter.
But despite their constant bickering, AJ Styles seemed to really look up to Christian. Despite Team Cage losing at Lockdown, AJ continued to hang around with Christian, most likely because he still believed he would get a title shot handed to him from Christian. He kept awkwardly asking, but didn't receive. AJ was upset that everyone wanted to interview Christian instead of him. He looked so foolish and silly. He also believed Christian had stolen his hooded entrance. AJ never did get that title shot because Christian was beaten for the belt, so that was a waste of time. Steiner stopped hanging around with Christian because his brother Rick was in town, and Abyss was kicked out of the Christian Coalition. But Styles and Tomko had nothing better to do. Cornette got sick of the Christian Coalition and decided to make Styles face Tomko to get a shot at the world title. This caused AJ to throw a complete tantrum backstage. Christian is keen to remind the audience that AJ keeps crying on telly. AJ was absolutely terrified of facing Tomko, A man who is a 3-time world champion is scared of a man who hasn't done anything. What a joke. But AJ Styles is one of Christian's sons, so he helped Styles beat Tomko. AJ Styles needed help to beat Tomko, and without Christian, he had no chance. This does qualify AJ for a title shot at Slammiversary 2007, but Christian is also part of this match, as an opponent. AJ points this out to him, causing Christian to fake cry and hug AJ, telling him thank you for your sacrifice. He's basically telling AJ that he's going to sacrifice the match and help Christian win it. AJ is a complete idiot. He's more interested in their matching attires. As this is a King of the Mountain match, there's 3 other men in there with them, but as Styles and Christian are friends, they should have a clear advantage. To win, you have to pin someone, and then you have permission to climb the ladder and hang the belt to win. Styles literally lies down for Christian, but fortunately AJ and Christian do eventually fight each other. But it's no good as Samoa Joe throws AJ off the cage and through a table. Harris spears Christian off the ladder and Kurt Angle wins the match. So despite eventually having a tag team advantage, AJ and Christian still lost the match. The comedy team openly talk about Christian controlling and manipulating AJ, who seems to have completely lost any confidence that he once had. Christian also manipulates Tomko by bringing up how Tomko wouldn't have a wrestling career without Christian. Jim Cornette tries to remind AJ who he once was by calling him Christian Cage's sock puppet and a complete moron. That doesn't seem to work. In a backstage promo, AJ points out that he's held more world titles than Christian. Cage knocks him down a rung by basically calling him stupid. Robert Roode's with them too. Christian calls Rude kid and they walk off together. This upsets AJ, who's close to tears. He's really unhappy that Christian has called someone else kid. Tomko and JB look at AJ Styles thinking how stupid everything is. Every single match, AJ seems to be on the losing end at this time, and it seems like Tomko takes pity on him and keeps coming to his rescue. For a moment, Tomko was really cool. It feels like even Tomko is overshadowing Styles at this point. It's here that Kurt Angle's wife becomes a character in TNA. Now, it might not seem like it, but this is really relevant to the story.
Is that Angle's wife? Nice belts. Hey, Tomko, maybe she can carry your toy belt, too.
She looked like she was like 5. You see?
I'm a tall one, AJ.
I know.
Because Styles seemed to be quite fond of Karen Angle. He really did not like Christian calling her a stripper. She was also manipulating AJ and promised him that if he helped Angle out, she would get him a title shot. Has he thought about perhaps winning a match? That might get him a title shot. He thinks that Karen wants him. He tries to beat the Icon Sting for her, but loses as usual, so I guess his chances of getting a title match are gone. The promos are appalling. To celebrate Christian's feud with Samoa Joe, AJ decides to throw a themed party, because seemingly he doesn't have any feuds or matches anymore, so he has time to build this entire set. He wants them all to peel bananas with their feet. I can't believe this is AJ Styles.
Hey, Christian! You're early! You're early!
Yeah,
hey,
what's going on?
Celebration, because you're wrestling one of the biggest, baddest Samoans ever. Got bananas. Hey, you know what we should do?
What?
Fill them with our toes, just like those Samoans do. Hey, watch this.
AJ, get the bananas out of your hand, the hat off your head, and come on!
All right, I'm coming.
Despite that, we finally do get some good news because AJ and Tomko managed to capture the tag titles at Bound for Glory. It took Tomko threatening him pre-match to not mess around, but they got there eventually. It was only against Team Pac-Man, so not exactly a legendary win. On Impact, they had a title celebration, but Christian kept interrupting the presentation because he was jealous. Tomko and AJ actually have a double team finisher, which they call the Tornado Plex. Right when things seem to be getting better, AJ and Tomko ask Christian who he prefers. Christian prefers AJ, which makes him giddy with happiness. He got so giddy over that comment that he challenged Scott Steiner to an amateur wrestling match. He reveals that he was in the Class D reserve team at Gainesville Vocational College. Of course, they make him wear a goofy wrestling outfit and he looks like Michael Cole. This guy is just so wacky. It doesn't go well for Styles. And can I just say, it's so weird seeing the 6-sided ring without ropes. At the Genesis pay-per-view, AJ and Tomko randomly interfere in the main event and help Kurt Angle retain his belt. He welcomes them both into the Angle Alliance. AJ was apparently persuaded to do this by Karen's womanly assets. Cage is furious about this and calls them both imbeciles. JB informs AJ that Christian is furious with him, which causes AJ to cry as he desperately apologises into the camera. He thought that by doing this, Kurt Angle would join Christian's coalition and he'd never do anything to hurt Christian because he loves him. The Angle family Thanksgiving with AJ wearing Kurt's medal. What a goofball. They've set up a chair for Christian, but he fails to show up. On the same show, AJ Styles loses the annual Turkey Bowl match, and he's forced to wear the turkey outfit. What a horrible year for AJ Styles. Kurt Angle walks out to the ring in disbelief, glaring at Styles. He's a pilgrim. The following week, AJ is back on TV crying again because he needs the toilet. Who the hell was telling him to do this stuff? They finally have a meeting with Christian to discuss their friendship with Kurt. AJ wants to hug Christian, but Christian no longer wants or needs them, and the Christian coalition is over. AJ starts panicking and says both Christian and Kurt are his bosses. He also says Christian is his dad. Funny how things don't change. AJ almost gets down on his knees and begs him, and he looks so pathetic. Oh no. AJ heads a meeting between the Christian coalition and Karen Angle. He wants everyone and Kurt to work together. AJ says he wants to play on both teams. Karen and Christian shake hands. AJ Styles names the group a team, and he dives on the table and starts flipping around like a seal in the sand. As usual, Christian was just manipulating him, and he tells Karen he has no intention of working with Kurt Angle. Within a week, Angle and Christian are feuding whilst AJ desperately tries to stop the fighting. It's another almost AJ Styles in tears promo. He actually reverts back to his zip it catchphrase. I'm surprised The Rock didn't add that one to his repertoire. Tomko says it's his fault for trying to play both teams, and they need to pick a side. And you won't believe this, but just a month after he had to wear the turkey suit, he loses another match where he is forced to dress as a reindeer. Someone is deliberately messing with him at this point. There's no other way to discuss it. They are screwing him. He throws a temper tantrum like Christian from 2001. AJ Styles is a wacky reindeer and he plays for both sides. What a joke.
At Thanksgiving, you're a freaking turkey. Now at Christmas, you're a freaking reindeer. Not only are you a reindeer, you're an angry reindeer. You're a disgrace. You go back to your hotel room and say, I am not a reindeer 1,000 times.
An entire episode of Impact is dedicated to AJ Styles trying to decide which team he plays for. Yeah, that's how he words it. They're trying to be funny. He keeps saying it just like that. Christian invites Styles and Tomko to the ring so a decision can finally be made. Tomko has already made his decision, so AJ comes out on his own. Christian goes on to absolutely destroy Styles in his promo. He yells at him and tells him that everything he has in wrestling is because of Christian. The tag titles because of Christian. All his previous world title wins are because of Christian. This is horrible. There better be some sort of payoff to this. An entire year spent of Christian manipulating AJ and making fun of him.
Everything you have in this business is because of me. AJ, the 2 World Heavyweight Championships.
3. I had 3 world champ. 3.
I mean, I know it was a few years before I got to TNA, but I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm going to take credit for it. It was because of me.
Angle makes his way out and they proceed to have a tug of war over AJ Styles, which causes a fight and Christian accidentally knocks out Styles. It's like AJ Styles is a woman. AJ confides in other whack job Eric Young. This turns out to be a bad decision because EY is the only person in TNA who is more nuts than AJ. His advice is worthless. He moves on to see Dr. Kevin Nash. AJ is once again crying. Kevin Nash says it's like when NWO Wolfpack and NWO Black and White were fighting over him. Nash's advice is there's no friends in the business and to follow the money. When decision time comes, AJ still doesn't have an answer and he grits his teeth with rage and fills his nappy of anger as the show goes off the air. This causes AJ to have a mental breakdown and he refuses to come to TNA for a week, so instead they bring the show to him. Well, it's actually his grandma's house. They make sure we're aware it's his grandma's house, making him look even sillier. He has pictures of Kurt Angle and Christian up and he's crying behind a door. Throughout the show, members of his family are interviewed about his decision. They interview his 3rd grade teacher. She says AJ was always a shy boy because he had such bad acne spots. AJ Styles' wrestling teacher talks about the time AJ had to wrestle a girl and he got so scared of her that he pissed all over himself in fear. AJ Styles' sister says she's gonna tell everyone a secret if he doesn't come out. Something about she caught him in the loo as a teenager. As the show goes on, people are praying for him outside his door. A vicar said AJ was his altar boy when he was a kid. He wants him to choose Christian. Very funny. Religious jokes. Why are they doing this? This has about 6 or 7 segments and they're all designed to make AJ look ridiculous. I don't know how much more of this I can watch. Tomko is a lot more normal than AJ and he tells Kurt he's not doing anyone's bidding anymore. He's also not stupid enough to get jumped by Kurt afterwards. Tomko's awesome and not an idiot.
You want my answer? Yes. Christian. I'm going with Christian.
All right.
I changed it. I'm going with Kurt. I'm going with Kurt.
Are you sure?
I'm going with Kurt.
Are you sure?
Kurt. Yes.
All right. Congratulations.
Wait. I'm going with Kangle.
What?
I don't even.
We wouldn't have to wait too much longer for a decision to come. It comes on pay-per-view at Final Resolution 2008. Somehow, throughout all of this, Tomko and Styles are still the tag team champions. I feel like I've hardly talked about any matches, and that's because he hasn't had any worth talking about. Tomko and Styles beat Kevin Nash and Samoa Joe because Nash turned on Joe. At the end of the night, during Angle and Christian's title match, AJ appears at ringside. He acts like he's chosen to side with Christian before attacking him, and this gives Angle the win. So, we've got a Christian versus AJ Styles feud now then, which should finally be the start of something good. Oh no, Hawk. It's about to get a whole lot worse. AJ is so scared of Christian that he spends an episode of Impact hiding under a desk with JB, and AJ keeps farting on him. Eric Young joins them. This can't possibly get worse. It can. AJ Styles goes and hides in Universal Studios dressed as a pharaoh. Has he not worn enough dumb outfits in the last few months? AJ is persuaded to go back to the arena because JB says that Karen is looking for him, and he has a thing for her. Karen Angle and AJ Styles dressed as a pharaoh meet in the men's bathrooms. They make sex jokes. Growth, stand up, rise up, and AJ is a strong man. Tonight, AJ has a coronation into the Angle Alliance. He is now Prince AJ Styles. He has a throne and a crown. These AJ Styles promos are appalling. He was better in 2002. He's now going as the Prince of Phenomenal. Kurt Angle wants Tomko to join their team, and apparently Karen will be a perk of the job. They insult Tomko's wife, which causes him to flip out. There's a tag title match where Tomko has to defend the tag titles on his own after AJ abandons him in the title match because he's busy worrying about Karen's well-being. Tomko wins the match all on his own. What a man. What a champion. It seems like AJ and Tomko are no longer friends, and Tomko is siding with Christian. Another pay-per-view and another title defence. It's only against the Armstrong family, but I'm surprised this tag title reign is still going. Especially considering that they're now tag partners who don't get on. On the same show, Angle and Christian fight for the belt again. AJ tries to help Kurt, but he's dealt with by Samoa and Joe with ease. Then Tomko turns up and takes out Christian in a turn which made 0 sense. Tomko is now with the Angle Alliance. Way to kill his popularity. AJ Styles is really upset because Karen is renewing her wedding vows with Kurt. AJ is going to be the best man. He really thinks that Karen Angle is his. If you thought things were bad, they're about to get even worse, if that's even possible. When they get to the final part, Joe and Kevin Nash interrupt with objections and a fight. The Vicar, Styles and Karen are all knocked down in the process. When the Vicar gets up, he pronounces AJ and Karen man and wife, and AJ kisses Kurt's wife. Now you might think this is just a silly joke, but no, AJ truly thinks that Karen is his wife now. Karen actually does like the attention from Styles because Kurt Angle has been a dick to her all year. They decide to document AJ Styles taking Karen Angle on a honeymoon. Karen isn't used to this kind of romance. AJ gifts her a snow globe and tells her a heartfelt story about how it never snowed in Gainesville as a kid. He takes her to a gator farm to eat them. At the end of the night, he tells her he loves her, but he runs away into his little bedroom. What a nerd. Kurt doesn't really care about any of this. He thinks Karen's annoying. It all leads to Karen asking Kurt for a divorce. It's still not going well in the ring for Styles. He can't beat Kevin Nash and he can't beat Booker T. It's like they completely forgot about any of AJ's past accomplishments. What does being in the Angle Alliance even do for Styles? They never help him win. If it wasn't for Tomko, AJ would be completely lost. Tomko has to keep reminding AJ of all his past accomplishments, giving him an ego boost. He seems to be the only one who's remembered. After 184 days, wow, kind of an underrated tag title reign, Tomko and Styles' time was finally up. They lost the titles to Kaz and Super Eric. What? This was basically just Eric Young's alter ego. Eric wouldn't actually admit that Eric Young and Super Eric were the same people. Therefore, Jim Cornette stripped the tag titles for outside interference. You couldn't make it up. Jim Cornette looks like he wants to end his life. For the next month, things go very quiet on all fronts for AJ. Tomko disappears from TNA as he no-showed an event and got suspended, and Kurt was trying to reconcile with Karen. Although he was still accusing her of having affairs. AJ started teaming up with Super Eric. When Tomko returned, he was unhappy that Styles had teamed with Eric. AJ flips out and he says he's so sick of everyone and being bossed around, and finally, AJ says he's going to do what he wants and be his own man. And that is how the Angle Alliance ends. Tomko continued to hang around with Kurt for a few more weeks and cost AJ a match, which turned AJ face in the process before leaving the company. So first Christian and now Tomko. No proper feud with either of them, so what was the point? Nothing was gained apart from making AJ look silly. Mercifully, this face turn for Styles was the end of the silly stuff. AJ went on to have an excellent feud with Kurt Angle, with accusations about his wife thrown in for good measure. And who would have known it? AJ would actually win the feud. But AJ was back to being a normal wrestler. He was no longer a prince, he was no longer playing for both teams, he wasn't a turkey or a reindeer, he was just the phenomenal AJ Styles. And ultimately, that's what we all wanted to see. This was a minor miracle. The only good thing that came out of this whole thing was his team with Tomko, where for a moment it looked like Tomko could be a star. Oh, and this video was admittedly pretty fun to make. The amount of times I looked up in shock at what I was hearing, I literally can't believe how bad this was. It was often in a so bad it's funny kind of way. Every week they came up with a new way to make AJ look silly. He didn't have any good matches, and they tried to rewrite his history by turning him into a moron. It's like they knew he was bad at promos and spoke with heavy accents, and they decided to turn him into a stumbling moron because it was just easier. So always remember, not everything AJ Styles was great, and if you don't agree with that, I'll show you some hate.